Hello and welcome to the King Power Stadium for live Women's Super League coverage between Leicester City and Arsenal. Now the hosts will be keen to put a bit of extra daylight between themselves and Birmingham City at the bottom of the table. They've lost their last 3 league games on the bounce. Meanwhile, Arsenal, well, they relinquished top spot to arch rivals Chelsea last weekend. These are two teams under pressure at both ends of the table.
It's the Barclays FA Women's Super League. He gets a shot away! It's a ripper! It's audacious! It's outstanding!
Niederman. Let's fly! And she stuck it through. Absolutely brilliant. For now, league leaders stay there.
Leicester's recent form has fallen off a bit. Oh, what a hit! Kerr onto the rebound.
They are blowing Leicester away.
They're just being torn apart. Leicester are being cut to shreds by Chelsea. Chelsea, though, top of the table in absolutely emphatic fashion. No consolation for Leicester.
So Leicester City return here following that 9-0 drubbing at the hands of Chelsea last Sunday. Manager Lydia Bedford wanting no repeat of such scorelines against Arsenal today. The Foxes are currently second bottom of the WSL table, 7 points clear of Birmingham City in the drop zone. With Arsenal's game against Tottenham postponed last weekend, Chelsea went top of the table for the first time this season. There's just a point between them now, and after crashing out of the Champions League quarter-finals in midweek, the league is the top priority. It is Leicester City against Arsenal in the Barclays Women's Super League. Kick-off here at the King Power Stadium is in just over 10 minutes' time. And we're a little bit spoiled today. I'm joined by not one but two top-draw WSL players. I know you've both been in action this weekend, so there could be a few sore limbs. We'll talk about your games later on. We've got the Everton forward, Izzy Christensen, of course, Manchester City midfield maestro, Caroline Weir. Let's concentrate on this game, though. Izzy, I mean, for Leicester City, we're back at the scene of the crime. That was a devastating defeat on every single level. The key, though, is obviously the reaction. How do they pick themselves up today against another big side in Arsenal?
Well, exactly. It's a difficult task against a team at the top of the WSL, but Leicester will be looking to improve from last week. And what I really liked about Lydia Bedford's post-match interview was how she owned and was accountable for the fact that the defeat was because of her and the way she set the team up. So I expect a very different Leicester City side today, more compact, pressing at the right times, and yeah, hopefully that they can improve from last week's performance.
Yeah, and as for Arsenal, look, this is the first time they're not at the top of the table for the entire season. Chelsea have just pipped them. They're now level on games. Arsenal had those games in hand. Those have now gone. And interestingly, that victory over Leicester last weekend has really given them that goal difference, that cushion now, which could be key in the run-in. How do Arsenal now set up in this game? The pressure is on them.
Yeah, the pressure is definitely on. I think Arsenal won't think too much about Chelsea, but will be aware that they could do with the goals. They're obviously coming off the back of a disappointing Champions League defeat in the midweek. So, yeah, I think Arsenal will be determined to go out there, play well, score goals, and then kind of put the pressure back on Chelsea as they play later today.
This one's going to ebb and flow, isn't it, right towards the end of the season. We're going to hear from the Arsenal manager, Jonas Eidevall, in a moment. But first, let's hear it from Lydia Bedford. The Leicester boss has been speaking to Kelly Summers.
How much did you learn from that Chelsea defeat that you can take into a game against a team of similar calibre?
I think for us probably the biggest priority today is staying in the game for longer. We've had a really aggressive style of football in terms of how we press that has worked for us against the teams that are in and around us, and last week it didn't work and we got caught out early, and I think if you can stay in the game doing that for a little while you've got a bit of a chance, but obviously it caught us out on Sunday, and it's important to us today from a pride perspective that we see out the first half as best as we can and stay competitive in the game for as long as possible.
As for yourselves, you come into this game in the slightly less familiar position of being behind Chelsea now in the WSL. Does that change how the team feels or how you approach it?
No. It didn't change when we were on top. It doesn't change now. All you can do is to do your best. You have to live in the moment. You have to be present. You have to play the game from situation to situation. You can't fast forward. You can't hope for anything. You have to be present and perform, and that's what we need to do today as well.
Best of luck today.
Thank you.
Well, Jonas will be delighted to have Beth Mead back in the starting lineup. She could make history today. Currently level with Karen Carney on 35 assists in the WSL. One more and she takes that record. I see a real parallel with you this season, Caroline. She's been scoring a few worldies, but there's something about her this season. You feel like she's up to level. Is she sort of having the season of her life, would you say?
Yeah, I think she might be. I think she's found great consistency in this Arsenal team. She's impacting games every week, and I think she's spoken openly about being disappointed last summer when she didn't make that Olympic squad, and she really hit the ground running when the season started and was scoring, assisting. So yeah, I'm sure that record's in her head. She'll be determined to get that assist, and yeah, she'll be hoping for it today.
She certainly will. I tell you, someone else will have her eye on her. Ashley Plumtree, she thankfully is back in the Leicester lineup today. She's been really key for them as well. A really interesting story as well. She's in fact a biology graduate. She's been out in the States playing. She's also switched to international allegiance as well. She's been catching up with Carolyn Demores about all of that in midweek.
Arsenal is up next. What is the plan? What's the strategy?
They're obviously tough games to play in, but they're ones as, you know, an underdog player you relish in because you don't feel the pressure as much. And I think everybody's going out there, not just as a team, but as an individual to try and prove themselves now.
You used to play for England and then there was a switch to Nigeria. Has it enabled you, I guess, to explore that other side of your heritage?
Ultimately, I've never been thrown into Nigerian culture in the way that I have been able to with the national team, and I go there and I have no choice but to be a warrior when I'm there. Do you know what I mean? Like it's such a battle, like in training, in games, and I thrive off that really. So as my journey in football has progressed, I've thought about like what I want to get out of it and who I want to influence, and I'm really loving every second of it at the minute.
Was there anything culturally that you felt like, I don't want to clash, or there has been a clash?
Do you know the biggest thing is, like, when I'm here, I'm not like the best dancer, but let's say like amongst the team here, I wouldn't be like the worst, right? But like when I go there, I literally stick out like a sore thumb.
I also want to touch on America and playing out there. Was it a different experience, I guess, playing football or soccer out there, because they view the game, especially for women, in a very different way?
I always identified with a lot of the American players because they weren't just footballers, they were athletes. And I've always seen myself more as an athlete first before a footballer, but they lived and breathed the athlete lifestyle, which I wanted.
You could have carried on out there. What was it about coming back to the UK, and what was it particularly about Leicester?
You know, I grew up playing for Leicester. I've grown, not necessarily changed who I am, but I've grown as a person to come back and then be able to influence where I started playing and the people involved in the community. That's what drew me the most.
You personally, what are some goals that you feel you would really like to tick off?
I want to know really where I can get to, like how much potential do I really have? Like at 23, I want to see how far I can get. I can't believe that I get a wage for doing something that I've always enjoyed as a hobby. Like for me, I'm like, I've always thought as well, like how am I contributing to the world? I feel like I have a duty as a footballer to do more than what I just do on the pitch, because I recognise how lucky I am.
Ashley Plumtree is such a wonderful character. We heard all of that in that interview. Even in that little snippet, you can see what she's about. And what she's about to this Leicester side as well, Izzy. She means so much. She's pivotal, isn't she? And with the defensive injuries that Leicester have had this season, she's key, isn't she? Especially against an opponent like Arsenal today.
Definitely. Listening to her talking there, she sounds to me like a real leader. And I think for Lydia Bedford, her coming back into the side today is integral for that leadership and the communication across the back line, because in games like this it's so important to be able to communicate well with your teammates. And as well, she speaks about there her athleticism, and I think that's another thing against a team such as Arsenal, who are so quick in the forward line, that she's got the ability to kind of defend for her team and last-ditch defend and things like that. So she seems like a real character, and I'm looking forward to seeing her play today.
Yeah, absolutely right. And speaking of defensive duties, Arsenal will really have to be on their guard against Natasha Flint today. She could spring a few surprises, couldn't she?
That's right, and she's a player who's got loads of raw talent, and I think she's been in and around the game for quite a while now, considering she's only 25. But we see here her hold-up play. In this game today, she's going to need to hold the ball up for her team and give her defence that bit of respite. She does that so well. Here you can see a linking play, and then what does she do? She goes and gets herself in the box, occupies that central area like a good number 9, and look at her there in between the two centre halves, poaching and looking for a finish. She's unlucky there, but we've seen her a lot this season, and she's probably had a very lonely role. But moments like this, you create your own luck in football, and that's exactly what that is. She's got the athleticism to get in behind the back line, and here again, just a poacher's finish. Excellent finish with her left foot, and yeah, she's a player that Arsenal need to be on guard about, because she can certainly produce a moment of brilliance out of nowhere.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Caroline, Kim Little is someone you know so well, former international teammates. There's not very much that she can't do, but she is going to be so pivotal to Arsenal in this, not just in this game, but in the run-in.
Yeah, absolutely. Kim's been a pivotal part of this Arsenal team for many years. She's one of the best players in the league, and I think when Arsenal do well, it's because Kim is playing well. She's got a bit of everything. I think she's best going forward and playing that final pass or finishing the goal herself. But I think in this team sometimes she plays a little bit more defensively, breaking up play a little bit more. But she's such a leader, both on and off the pitch, and she is such an example to these Arsenal players. So yeah, when Arsenal play well, she's usually impacting games positively, and she'll be hoping for the same again today.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, the players are in the tunnel. Before we head to our commentary team, look, Leicester, 4 wins, 14 losses and no draws. They don't do draws. We're hoping for a result today, Izzy. Which way is it going to go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that Leicester improve for their benefit. No one likes to see a team lose 9-0, but I think for me, Arsenal are going to win this game. But Leicester, let's hope they can improve defensively.
Yeah, we really hope so. Okay, so it is, with the teams out, it is time to get you over to the first half. It is Leicester City against Arsenal at the King Power Stadium, and your commentary team are the former England and Reading midfielder Farrah Williams. But first, Robin Cowan.
Thank you very much, Reshmin. Good afternoon, everyone. Just 2 days after their Champions League exit, disappointment must be put aside quickly for Arsenal. An immediate refocus required. No longer top of the WSL, a point behind Chelsea. There is no room for error from now until the end of the season. Another tough task for Leicester, who were taken apart by the new league leaders last week, and Lydia Bedford has a few injury concerns. 2 changes to the 11 that lost 9-0 here last weekend. 19-year-old Missy Goodwin starts for the first time since joining in January from Aston Villa. Sophie Barker also comes in. Ashley Prompter, though, is fit enough to be named in the starting lineup despite being forced off against Chelsea. 4 changes from Thursday night's defeat at Wolfsburg for Arsenal. Maritz, Catley, Marnham and Heath all dropped to the bench. Lara Wienreuter and Katie McCabe start as fullbacks. Leah Velti returns after missing the Champions League game in Germany due to travel issues. And Beth Mead is back from suspension. Caitlin Ford joins the Arsenal attack. So a couple of ones to watch for our commentator today, Farrah Williams for Leicester. You picked out one of your old teammates.
Yeah, Sophie Howard. Look, I think it's important. This Leicester team are really tight today, really compact, and try and reduce our Arsenal to, very few chances. I think she'll play as an experienced player in this team, a huge part in that.
And for Arsenal, a big boost for them to have Beth Mead back. She was missed in midweek.
Yeah, and this Arsenal team will welcome Beth Mead back. Look, she's been a key player for Arsenal this season. Her form since the summer has been fantastic, and look, she could break that record in WSL today for the most assists. And look, she isn't a player that, having known her from a young age, was an out-and-out number 9 and a goal scorer. So now to see her assisting her teammates, look, it's fantastic for her, and hopefully she can do that today.
Rebecca Welsh, the referee, vastly experienced in the Women's Super League. And a big ask this for Leicester, who have a very, very tough run of fixtures after the international break. They are at Manchester City and then against Reading and Spurs for their run-in. Before kick-off, players take the knee to applause, highlighting their opposition to all forms of discrimination. So the formality's over. Kick-off at the King Power, and it is Leicester City who get us underway, playing from left to right in their traditional home shirts, and It was interesting to hear, Farah, from Lydia Bedford post-match against Chelsea, that 9-0 defeat. She admitted she held her hands up. She said she got it wrong. It'll be interesting to see what they do differently today.
Yeah, most definitely. Look, they did get it wrong. They tried to press, a high press, a very good Chelsea team with players that, you know, really comfortable on the ball, you know, under pressure. So I think she got that wrong. And the reason why she goes with a high pressing, because they've got a lot of young players with their team with a lot of energy. I think today they'll be a bit more reserved and hopefully pick their moments in pressing this Arsenal team. Look, they'll have to sit in and be very compact and stay in the game as long as they can.
Free kick to Leicester. There's Tierney, who was just caught late by Leah Velti. Another player that was hugely missed in Europe. Very strange circumstances that she wasn't available. She couldn't travel with the team, and then she wasn't allowed to join up with them. All very mysterious, but she's been such an influence. And actually I saw something this week, Farah, that she's the most two-footed player in the WSL in terms of usage. So really, really helpful.
Yeah, look, especially when you're playing that type of position for a team, I think being able to sit just in front of the back four, she's got equal qualities in breaking up play.
Ford plays it in, and that's a wonderful goal! Beth Mead helping it in inside 90 seconds, and Leicester City, who were desperate to not concede early, have done just that. And that's a really well taken goal from Beth Mead.
Yeah, look, it's a fantastic goal from Beth Mead. And you can see here, forward down the left-hand side, just a little shimmy before she delivers a cross into a very good area. The ball was actually going away from Beth Mead, and she's able to catch it on the volley and guide it towards goal. I mean, it's a fantastic contact. Could the keeper have done more? I think so. But I think Leicester will be disappointed with conceding so early in the game.
Mead's 10th goal in all competitions this season, and Leicester City immediately going over for a post-mortem.
I think this might be a tactic here, Robin. I think, you know, the keeper going down, having just conceded so early in the game, it will give, you know, Bedford an opportunity to talk to her players, allow them to regroup. But the goal they just conceded was, for me, too easy. You know, they haven't learned. It doesn't look from the mistakes they made last week against Chelsea.
Familiar feeling that happened just a week ago for Leicester. What on earth is going through Lydia Bedford's mind here? They were 3-0 down inside 7 minutes against Chelsea. They will not want a repeat of that, but this is exactly what they didn't need.
It was too easy to fall down this left-hand side. You know, she was just able to just take the ball past the full-back with ease and put a cross in. Beth Mead was actually outnumbered 1-3 in terms of defending, so the marking inside the box sometimes is questionable. And look, with that goal there, look, take nothing away from Beth Mead. The execution on the volley was very good. Well-deserved goal, but defending needs to be better.
Demi Lamborn, the goalkeeper, getting a bit of treatment.
You can see the goal here again. Look, defending is too passive for me. Ford just able to take her down onto the left foot, and you see Beth Mead, there's 3 defenders around her. She's the one that makes the contact in the box.
Already worth the trip for those making the short trip from the capital and back underway. And well, this could be another real slog for Leicester City, but from an Arsenal point of view, just what the doctor ordered after Thursday night's disappointment. And they will, I'm sure, Farah, have in the back of their mind that Chelsea not only leapfrogged them in terms of points, but also goal difference.
Yeah, definitely. They would have seen what Chelsea did to this Leicester team last week. 9 goals. I think, you know, in the quality in this Arsenal team and the goal scorers they have, they'll be looking for something similar.
Good foray forward from O'Brien, but that's going to stop too, and me trying to get back onto it. All the way back to the goalkeeper, Demi Lamborn. Slipped by Blackstenius. Here's Velti for Arsenal. Early cross in, just away from Ford. De Graaf claiming that Ford touched that with her hand. The former West Ham player is going to try and bring it upfield.
They just don't have an out in transition, Leicester. So when they regain the ball back in, you know, inside their half, they're looking for a forward pass, and Tash Flint is outnumbered. and you know the Leicester players aren't able to get up with play, and they keep then giving the ball away, and giving this Arsenal team this amount of possession, you know, it could really hurt them.
Should say for context that Leicester pretty much safe, 7 points clear of Birmingham. But this will do nothing for their confidence. Flint, that's good hold-up play. It's the captain, Kim Little.
I think Leicester players, they have to show some discipline, and they have to, you know, they have to be patient in their shape. And
McCabe now trying to get away from De Graaf, and she's done that, but this time the cross was well defended. Here's Miedemar, on to Ford. Mead again, bit of a heavy touch, she's kept it in. And out of play for a corner kick.
yeah, again, look from McCabe down this left-hand side, it's just really easy getting the ball into the box. But going back to my point about Leicester, they certainly have to be disciplined and, you know, not get frustrated in allowing Arsenal this much possession, because Arsenal are a very good team. If you get frustrated and start chasing the ball, you're going to get hurt.
Close to a second. And Chelsea, as we say, we're 3-0 up at this point. Chance for Arsenal to make it 2. McCabe will take this corner kick. Nearly floated all the way in, headed away.
Yeah, really good delivery from Katie McCabe to the back post, and it beat everybody, and it took some really good defending from De Graaf there to get the head away.
Another opportunity then. Mead will take this one. It's towards the near post. And eventually, Leicester do manage to get it clear. All scrambled away. It's Freya Gregory trying to get away from her own half for Leicester. She has been a bright spark since signing on loan from Aston Villa.
Yeah, look, a very good player, and, you know, certainly against teams in and around where Leicester are, you know, she's able to show her talent. It's against the more, you know, difficult opposition.
It's Blackstenius. Scored 4 goals in 4 WSL starts since signing in January. Swedish international. Just over the head of Blackstenius. Arsenal in complete control.
Yeah, and just going back to Gregory, as I say, when they play tougher opposition, you tend to have less of the ball, and, you know, it's more about showing her defensive side of the game.
Tactics board already out. Miedemar wins the header. Hunter just about gets there, stretching ahead of Blackstenius. Ford goes down. Arsenal play on. There's Tierney for Leicester. And deflection takes it into Woubenmoy. Relentless this from Arsenal. Going about it in a slightly different way though from Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely. Look, Arsenal are more of a team that like to build through possession and build through the lines. You know, the Chelsea team last weekend against Leicester, very direct, and they just looked ruthless last weekend. They were just there to score goals.
Oh, lovely bit of skill. Cross is deflected, poked away in the first instance. Velty, now Miedemar. Now McCabe for Arsenal. Ford easily cutting in. I think that was a shot, but well off target.
Yeah, and he worked it well out to Ford on the left-hand side and shapes up to cross, deliver the ball with her left foot, and then just cuts back in on her right, a more favoured right, and yeah, didn't really execute the shot too well. You can see here, she just takes her 1v1.
Lydia Bedford came in November and really has steered Leicester to safety under her charge. They lost their first 9 WSL games, but 3 of those back-to-back wins against West Ham and Birmingham has seen them to safety. Here is Miedemar. It's a good pinch from Tierney. Herfield up to Gregory. That's nice skill from O'Brien. Eventually Arsenal get the ball back.
Yeah, and Leicester, you know, they'll need that little bit of possession, and they'll see it as giving themselves time to rest in possession a little bit, because they know the ball's going to turn over so many times for them.
Here is Ford. Blackstenius in a bit of space. Howard there. Not quick enough to close her down, but it's well defended. Arsenal have won the last 3 WSL games, scoring at least 3 in the process. Ruben Moy is going to be penalised for a foul here. And a yellow card for Lotte Ruben Moy.
Yeah, you can start to see O'Brien for this Leicester team really starting to grow into the game when they get a little bit of ball. She's somebody that carries the ball really well. You can see here, very good ball carrier. And she manages to just break Ruben Moy, and yeah, it's a last-ditch challenge. A clever one from Ruben Moy, because she'd be going 1v1 towards goal with Leah Williamson, so Arsenal wouldn't want that. They'd rather give the free kick away on the halfway line and defend a set piece from there.
A good start from Shannon O'Brien, 20 years old, it's her second season, signed from Coventry United, so not someone who's played at the top level for a very long time. Has certainly shown touches of real promise here. The free kick's going to be delivered from the left boot of Perfield. It's up towards Howard, defended by Miedemar, and now Arsenal will try and catch Leicester on the counter. Flooding back the blue shirts. Arsenal try and move the ball forward quickly, and it's Natasha Flint, the centre forward back, to intercept that crossfield ball.
And this is what Leicester's going to need. They're going to need every player in here today, you know, working hard, trying to regain possession. So it's fantastic to see Tash Flint, you know, they're picking up a second ball for her team and keeping possession, more importantly.
It's a nice play from the forward, but it's given away. Blackstenius can't take possession of the ball.
They've settled a little bit now, Leicester. You can see they've started to, you know, the longer the game's gone on, they're starting to get a little bit more comfortable with a little bit of ball, which will really help them go into this game.
Lambourne closed down. Oh, that's a late one from McCabe. And another yellow card for an Arsenal player. McCabe a bit too aggressive in that challenge.
Yeah, just a little bit over the top. You can see here, lost possession of the ball, and she's just a committed player. She's definitely gone for the ball, but from behind and catching, yeah, catching the player in the Achilles, definite foul and a definite yellow card.
It's not a stranger to a yellow card. Katie McCabe has already served a suspension for picking up too many this season.
She's just a very committed player, honest player, hard-working, you know, competitive, and so you expect that from Katie McCabe.
Mr. Graf. Tierney. As well as taking the odd hiding Leicester, it's been in front of goal where they've struggled. No player has scored more than 2 in the WSL this season. Here is Ford. Arsenal win it back, middle of the park. Bit of a miscue. And easily taken at the near post by Lambourne.
He seems to be getting a lot of success down his left-hand side with Ford. You can see he's very direct in their running, and his body's committing to the box. It's just the execution of the delivery there wasn't great, but lots of success down his left-hand side for Arsenal in his first half.
Committed play from Flint. It's pulled back for a free kick for Arsenal.
Yeah, Natasha Flint, a very talented player. You know, certainly when she was younger and at Manchester City, there was, you know, really high hopes for her, really, you know, making it into the England team. And look, she's first season now in WSL 1, and she's performed really well.
Top scorer for Leicester in the Championship last season when they won the title. Struggled a little bit this season. She hasn't played a lot of WSL football. Prolific for Blackburn Rovers as well. Ruben Moy. Now Miedemar. Tierney now helping out on the right-hand side. Little wins the header, but it's cleared upfield by O'Brien.
I think what was interesting was Lydia Bedford's interview where she said, stay in the game as long as they can. This Arsenal team have travelled, you know, out to Germany and back, and they've had a lot of fixtures of late, and so there'll be a little bit of fatigue. They had a tough, you know, quarter-finals against Wolfsburg, so they'll be a bit leggy coming into this game.
Ford once again trying to get the better of De Graaf. She wins a corner.
Again, everything seems to be coming down his left-hand side with Ford. You've just seen Miedemar drift out to the left-hand side to try and get a little bit of success. So they've obviously identified it as a weakness from this Leicester team.
De Graaf not getting a lot of help. Mead on the corner kick. Low this time towards Blackstenius. Hit by Williamson. That did take a deflection. It's going to be another corner. It seems a bit silly to say, but actually been a good response since going behind for Leicester, because it wasn't when they went behind against Chelsea. Mead again. It was good when he won the header for Leicester. Headed towards goal by Miedemar, and again Leicester stand firm for now. O'Brien gets her foot to the ball. Flint. Good physical play and fair play according to the referee. Really looks like she wants to make something happen, Flint. Well, that's a poor pass from Gregory, but she's made up for it, getting the ball back, and that's a misplaced one from Plumtree.
Yeah, I think, look, Natasha Flint and O'Brien, we've seen there, when they're in possession of the ball, they're really important players for this Leicester team. It's going to be difficult, and it's those type of players that you need to hold on to the ball for a little bit longer.
Here's an Austrian international, Wien Reuter. Anyone following England at the Euros this summer? Keep a keen eye on some of these Austrian players. Zinsberger for Arsenal as well. Playing them in World Cup qualifying and with the Euros this summer. Now Ruben Moy. On a personal level, Ruben Moy had that moment at the Emirates against Wolfsburg, but over the 2 legs, got to say they were pretty well beaten in the Champions League quarter-final.
Yeah, it was a fantastic moment for Ruben Moy. I mean, it even got me off my seat. You know, I was on the sofa watching them, you know, desperate for Arsenal to get a goal back, and you know, such a late equaliser was fantastic. You know, not only for Arsenal, but for Ruben Moy herself. You know, grew up in the area, big Arsenal fan, so special moment for her.
McKay delivers. It's an awkward one, now to play for another Arsenal corner.
I think that, the problem down is right, Arsenal's left and Leicester's right-hand side. You can just see here McCabe again getting a delivery in. Far too easy for these Arsenal players to get deliveries in from the left-hand side.
Corner taken short, in by Miedemar. O'Brien with their head to the ball first. That's good play from McCabe, and it's struck towards goal by Miedemar. Shoveled behind by Lamborn.
Yeah, look, it's just a short set piece. The clearance didn't clear the box, and it's fallen to Miedemar, which you don't want it to fall to her inside the box. Fantastic strike, but equally, the save was just as good.
Lead with the corner. Actually, Leicester have defended these set pieces fairly well so far. There's been quite a few of them. Lead. Now Ford. Lovely play from Arsenal. Not quite precise enough for Blackstenius.
Yeah, I was saying before, I think the reason why Arsenal are getting so much success down this left-hand side, we've got Goodwin playing out on the right-hand side in a flat four, and she's naturally, a holding midfielder or central midfielder. And so the attributes of a wide player is a lot more difficult, and I think she's struggling out here a little bit defensively. And Arsenal, with the quality they have, are able to exploit it, recognise, identify it and exploit it, which they have been doing.
Miedemar being heavily marked. It's towards Blackstenius. It's good defending. Howard was right to touch tight to her.
Leicester just need to slow the game down when they're in possession and, let them dictate some of the tempo of the game where and when they can. It's not going to be always, because Arsenal are so dominant in possession, but when they get the opportunity to, it's important they take those moments to control it.
Lovely play from Ford. Howard makes the block. And that's a good clean. Wow, I thought that was a good challenge from O'Brien, but the referee's given a free kick to Arsenal.
Look, that's a harsh decision there. I'd like to see the replay, but live, it certainly looked like she intercepted the ball really well for her team. Yeah, it's a great interception from O'Brien on the edge of the box. And look, this is a position that Leicester wouldn't have wanted, on the edge of the box with the calibre of players Arsenal. You can see here, clearly gets her foot on the ball. Really bad decision from the referee, and one that Leicester wouldn't want. Edge of the box, you've got Mead, Little, Miedemar, to name a few that can line up to take this free kick. McCabe, if you wanted a left footer. And we've seen last weekend Gouin score for Chelsea, so from a similar position.
You could see O'Brien's face. Couldn't believe that decision.
When you time the tackles to perfection like that and it goes against you, it's disappointing.
It's Mead, goes low and just wide. It did take a nick off the wall. Another corner kick for Arsenal.
Really clever free kick there from Beth Mead and Arsenal. I think they thought she was going to go up and over the wall, and she sees a gap in between it and just goes low on the floor, and lucky from the deflection from O'Brien, it goes out for a corner.
So midway through and Arsenal lead, but just the one goal, but they did score after 90 seconds. Here comes the corner. Again, Leicester get first contact. Picked up by Miedemar. Good challenge, O'Brien. Another well-timed one.
Yeah, really well-timed. Look, she's really grown into this game, and not only with the ball, as I just spoke about before, O'Brien and Flint, but look at this. A little bit of passion in that, wanting to win for her team, and that's what her team's going to need, and she's showing it both in and out of possession.
They are playing a little bit more conservatively, Leicester. That was needed after last week.
And they have to. Look, they have to know their levels. They're new to WSL 1. For as well as they played last season in WSL 2, dominating the league and coming up. It's a completely different league and it's a completely different level, and you can't be naive enough, to come up against the very best in our league and think you can go, full throttle and press them.
It's McCabe, and then Miedemar straight at the goalkeeper. Good save by Lamborn in the right place. Mead twisting and turning, and blocked by Plumpter. Leicester somehow escape. Arsenal turning the screw once again. Ford, away from De Graaf. Beautiful play from Ford, another good save from Lamborn. Another busy afternoon for the Leicester City goalkeeper.
Yeah, and I'm sure she would have prepared herself for that. She's going to be important to this Leicester team this afternoon. You know, it's important that she stays switched on and keeps her team into the game like she's just done there for Miedema shot.
It's that long diagonal again to this near side.
We do know it's a trait from Arsenal, you know, no matter what the opposition they're playing against. Leah Williamson, big diagonal out to the left, and we can see Ford out here again on the left-hand side. It's just, I feel like De Graaf is just, you know, defending on her own at times. You know, 2v1, 3v1 out on the left, and you know, she's having a difficult afternoon. And luckily, her team are only one goal down.
It's fired into Flint. Back in the possession of Arsenal, who once again attempt to play it to the far side, and De Graaf with a cool header back to her goalkeeper.
Yeah, this is McCabe's cut back to Miedema on the edge of the box, and just the way that Miedema just takes it, softens the cross off her right foot and quickly executes with her left foot. Fantastic work from Miedema. Her feet are so quick here. And it's a really good save from the keeper, Lambourne.
So Lambourne wasn't the first choice. She only had one appearance in the Championship last season, but Kirsty Lavelle's injury has given her the opportunity, and she's the keeper who's kept the clean sheets that have seen them to near safety. Tierney trying to poke it forward, but it's back in the possession of Arsenal. They can't really keep hold of it more than a few seconds at a time, Leicester.
No, they can't. Look, they're trying to progress up the field, and they have a couple of key players in there that are really, you know, trying to do it, but there's not enough players with the similar quality within the team that are able to keep the ball, like the likes of Flint and O'Brien. It seems to break down when they pass the ball on. And look, it's expected against this Arsenal team. They're fantastic. Look here, you can see down this left-hand side with Ford. You know, she just plays it through De Graaf's legs, and it's where she gets her shot away, and it's a fantastic save at the near post.
Here's McCabe now in a bit of space. Goodwin eventually spots her and closes her down. Ford. Back to Katie McCabe, Republic of Ireland international. Leicester sitting deep. Arsenal trying to use their technical ability to try and break them down once again. Ruben Moy into Miedema. Good defending. De Graaf. Goodwin tries to bring it away, but Miedema wins it back. Mead. Arsenal racking up the completed passes stats.
Yeah, you can see, you know what, we've just seen Ford pull back out wide, but Arsenal wide players in Mead and Ford are coming really narrow, and I don't think it's helping them. When they kept the width is when Arsenal got most success. They were facing play, driving 1v1, you know, at the fullback and making it difficult for Leicester. We're starting to see the wide players narrowing off now.
Miedema with the first time ball towards Blackstenius. Plumpton. Perfield. Gregory gives it away. Blackstenius. Feels like a much more disciplined Leicester, though, from last week when Arsenal took the lead after a minute and 30 seconds. Really felt that this could be a repeat, but they've managed to get their heads back on, haven't they, and refocus, which they just didn't manage to do really at any stage last weekend.
Yeah, they have. And look, we said they'd need to be disciplined in their shape, and I think, you know, that first 5 minutes, you know, they found it really difficult, but they've certainly, you know, reorganised and reshaped. And what I like about this Leicester team is that when they're coming out, they're really trying to come out in some sort of shape, so if it does transition, they're in a really good position to then defend.
And next up for you in a couple of weeks' time, a double bill back-to-back of Women's FA Cup semi-finals. West Ham against Manchester City on the Saturday. BBC One, and then Arsenal against Chelsea, BBC Two on the Easter Sunday, Easter treat.
Massive treat that. Chelsea-Arsenal in a semi-final of an FA Cup.
They sit down with the chocolate eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Chocolate eggs, bragging rights for the city.
Miedema off the post, and I think that was a really vital save from Lambourne. He got a fingertip to it.
Fantastic save. Look, again, a turnover, and Miedema, the way she strikes the ball, it's so hard for a goalkeeper to see it come in. And she gets down Lambourne really, really well to get fingertips to push it onto the post. You can see here, she just rolls the graph and hits it hard and low, and it looks as if Lambourne got a fingertip onto the post. We'll see again here. Yeah, just a fingertip on it, and it was enough. It was enough to keep it out of the goal.
Half an hour played. Arsenal in complete control, but being kept at bay.
Yeah, they are, and I'm a little bit disappointed that they've gone away from what has been, you know, in the opening stages, so successful to them, and that's used it here. You just see Miedema there, roll the graph onto her right and hits it hard and low, and look, those fingertip saves, enough to keep the ball out the back of the net from Lambourne. But going back, I was saying, Caitlin Ford was getting so much success out on this left-hand side, and now Arsenal have gone away from that, and they're not using it as much, but that's where most of their chances in, you know, this opening 30 minutes have come from, down this left-hand side.
It's 4-0 to Arsenal in the reverse fixture. A couple of Marnham goals, Miedema and Jordan Nobbs, her only WSL goal this season, still finding minutes hard to come by in the Women's Super League. It's Little. Not sure if that was a cross or a shot, and I was rather Wienreuter trying to slip it through.
I was going to say, if that was Kim Little, it's probably going in the back of the net. But yeah, Wienreuter, look, it was good build-up play down the right-hand side. Manages to get a shot away.
O'Brien flicking it onto Flint. He isolated, and ball back with Arsenal. It's 2 WSL goals this season for Natasha Flint. 17 last season in the championship.
Katie McCabe needs to be a little bit careful. She just overran her touch there, and nearly, it looked on the eye, a late tackle.
Blackstenius. And Lambourne can't quite prevent that from rolling out for a corner. Really having a terrific game. Played in all 4 wins the Leicester have recorded this season. And they've also all been under Lydia Bedford as well, so no doubt the impact she's had. Want to head to it. Here's Little. Velty. Miedema now taking up the space on this near side, cleared by Howard. Scottish international. Miedema helping out the player there.
Just a little bit taller she is.
That would be me. Always need a taller person.
I won't mention what you're standing on right now to commentate. We won't talk about that.
I have to bring my own box everywhere these days.
I'm not far off. I'm tiptoeing.
You've got a bit more dignity than me. Oh, that's well won back by Miedemar. Shifts the ball, and that's a really good block from Howard. And Flint looking for options. They've all run away from her. That's a good ball for Goodwin. A bit of space now, and the crowd trying to G up their team. Here's O'Brien, lovely shift of play, drop of the shoulder. That's a good-looking ball in, and Flint with the shot. And a corner kick for Leicester.
What a really good opportunity for Leicester, and it come from Howard, I think it was, on the edge of the box from Leicester from a shot from Miedemar. You see here, O'Brien manages to get a cross in, and Flint gets a shot at goal. And Reuter, sorry, it was with the interception there at the near post. But going back to O'Brien, fantastic. I mentioned before, she's so good at carrying the ball up the pitch. She does a little shimmy, drops her shoulder one way, takes the ball the other, and manages to give her team half a chance in front of the goal.
Purfield, and this could be a route back into this game for Leicester. It's a really good delivery, but it's well taken by Zinsberger. A little bit too close to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was a real opportunity from a set piece for Leicester, but I just feel the delivery was, you know, too comfortable for the goalkeeper, and there was no one on the goalkeeper to make it hard for her.
First thing that Zinsberger's really had to do.
And she didn't like being challenged late either.
She did not enjoy that, you could see that. Hard stare from the goalkeeper.
Playing as a centre-half there in the back three. See how high she is up the pitch, building the attack.
It's been her normal position during this game for the most part. But just a little bit of hope for Leicester. Ford goes down. No foul. De Graaf.
I certainly think Leicester have grown into the game, and the longer the score line's only stayed at 1-0, they've certainly grown confidence and trust in what they're trying to do. I think, you know, it took for that goal maybe for them to believe in the game plan and stick to the game plan, and, you know, work hard and reduce Arsenal to as many chances as they can.
Mead is pulled over by Tierney. I'm not sure she could have too many complaints about that one.
It looked a bit, yeah, I think, you know, the ball stayed behind Beth Mead. So for me, Tierney had every right. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. I think Mead's there. She's trying to get her out of the way to get the ball back.
A booking for Sam Tierney as well.
I'm not sure it was worthy of a booking, but she initially won the first contact. And I think it's the fact that Beth Mead, you know, the ball had stayed behind her. You can see here the ball just got stuck on the grass, and Tierney gets a touch, and then, as I say, they're both, you know, fighting for the ball. And a free kick, yes. A yellow card, in my opinion, no.
He's pleading with the referee.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was worthy of a yellow.
I'm not sure that's ever worked, though, is it? The referee going, oh, OK, then I'll put the yellow card away.
I wouldn't have had any bookings if it worked. I used to get them all the time for that, pulling shirts.
All part of the game, from one of the best.
When you're not a quick player.
Struck straight against the wall. McCabe gets another chance. Away by Howard. Reuter, well, turned into an effort on goal. Play is just held up for a little bit. Goodwin just needs to take a breather. She may have been hit by that shot.
Winded. She looks okay, smiling away anyway. Let's see here. Oh yeah, took one right in the stomach. She wasn't winded for too long. I think I'd still be down.
You and me both.
She's smiling about it. That's what we like to see anyway.
Abs of steel from Missy Goodwin.
I didn't have that luxury.
Now, Lydia Bedford must be really pleased with how her team have played, considering the start they made, and it's 5 minutes till half-time, and they'll just want to keep it like this.
Certainly the reaction from her team, I think it's been fantastic, well disciplined. She'll go in at the half, very pleased with her team and just trying to reiterate what they're doing is, what they're going to need to do for another 45 minutes, in order to give themselves any sort of chance of getting a goal back maybe.
It's a good win. Back to Barker. You see visibly Leicester have grown in confidence on the ball, in possession, in their defending as well.
Yeah, they have, and I also, for this Arsenal team, as I mentioned before, they've had a lot of games, a lot of travel. Playing Wolfsburg isn't an easy game, and to travel back, you can see there's tired legs out there. They got the early goal, and they've probably settled with that for now. I think they're quite comfortable that it's not a game they're going to lose. 3 points is more important. Yes, they'd like more goals, but they're quite comfortable with how the game's going. But you can see tired legs for sure.
Well, they might need more goals if they're to take the title. They also need Chelsea to drop some points, which is a big ask at the moment. They seem to be clicking just at the right time.
Well, they were certainly ruthless last weekend against this Leicester team.
And I'm sure no matter what Emma Hayes says, they will be watching with interest today ahead of their game against Reading later on tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure Emma will be. I mean, look, I know as a player, look, if there was a team that we were competing with a title for and the game was on and we didn't have a game, we'd certainly be tuning in. So I'm sure some of their players will be. Unless they've got something better to do, like go for a coffee.
You just always get that manager speak of, no, we never look at the table. We all know it's absolute nonsense. Lovely driving run from Kim Little. She's picked out forward, and that's another quite brilliant save from Lambourne.
Yeah, between Lambourne and Howard there, defensively fantastic. Really shutting out the chance for Ford. Great dribbling there from Kim Little, finding Ford, and look, as I say, you've got Howard on the shoulder chasing back to try and put her off, and Lambourne, spreading herself nice and big to make the shot even more difficult for Ford.
First season the WSL. Star continues to rise. It's a low delivery, and that nearly caught out Leicester. It was a swing and a miss from Leah Williamson, and player down here for Leicester. Purfield, who was on the end of that Williamson attempt.
Not sure if it was her own teammate. Look, who's made contact there. She's certainly been kicked from behind, I feel, as she's about to make a clearance, but I'm not sure if it was, an Arsenal player or her own player.
2 minutes to hold on. And interesting about what could happen to Lydia Bedford. Just a short-term contract she signed till the end of the season, and pretty coy when asked about whether she'd be happy to stay on if she was asked. She's really in charge of the youth teams at the FA. It's her regular job. She bought in to Jonathan Morgan, left the club.
It will just depend on what she wants. Does she want to be a youth development coach for the rest of her career, or certainly for the shorter duration, or does she actually like the day-to-day coaching and competitiveness of the league? She'll know herself come the end of the season. I'm sure if she stays in this WSL with Leicester, there'll be more grey hairs before she knows it. It's a stressful job. Look, being a coach and a manager at this level, it's difficult. But she certainly has shown the qualities, and she's a young, up-and-coming coach in our female game. And it's fantastic to see her in the WSL weekly.
It probably won't be quite as fresh-faced if she stays at this level.
The baby faces. I was thinking exactly the same. I said grey hairs instead of the face, the wrinkles starting to appear.
Here's Ford. Barker. She did well to intercept it, but her touch takes it back to Caitlin Ford. And Miedemar. Mead. Well read by Purfield. She's got her foot in there. Wienreuter into Blackstenius. She looked at shade offside, but either way, goal kick for Leicester. Miedemar wins the header. Arsenal could be in here. Plumpton matching Blackstenius. The board goes up. 2 minutes of time added on.
What Leicester don't want to do is concede just on the half. I think it will send them in with or certainly a different message.
McCabe, no one out to her, and that was a waste.
Not like Katie McCabe to deliver a ball like that. You know, she has a beautiful left foot and, you know, more often than not executes, whether it be, you know, great strikes, great goals or great deliveries. She's looking at the floor as if there was something on the grass. I remind her of this after the game.
Oh, it's not that boring, is it, sir? Competitive game, this, as he's used to a few more goals to the red side.
A lot of Arsenal fans here today. Nice to see. You know, travelling up.
Had to get the big coat back out, though. Thought that was going into hibernation last weekend, but chill snap. Zinsberger closed down. She's done well there to pick out McCabe. Suddenly Leicester into the high press, so could they pay for it? Little. Force back, Velti. Bit short for Ford, is it? And neatly done. Very well done by Sophie Howard. Now Flint. Lambourne just about gets the clearance away, but it's straight to Ford. Finds Velti, and now Miedemar. Can Leicester hold on? Just a few seconds left of the first half. Flicked into the arms of Lambourne. And that should be just about that for the first half. And fitting that it's Demi Lambourne who finishes the half with the last action. Arsenal lead just by the goal to nil. Beth Mead after 90 seconds. They've had their chances. Not too many clear-cut. The ones they have had, they've been denied by a quite fabulous first-half performance from the Leicester City goalkeeper, Demi Lambourne. Leicester not out of this yet by any stretch, Farrah Williams.
No, look, if you take the first minute, the opening 90 seconds of the game and Arsenal's goal out of it, I actually think Leicester competed really, really well. Look, they've shown trust in changing their shape to what they're used to and changing their tactics. They're used to being a high-pressing team with, you know, some youthful players in there. So to have to change that mindset, you know, in a week and prepare for a big game against Arsenal, credit to these Leicester players.
So a slender advantage for Arsenal, but this game is not done yet. Half-time at the King Power. Leicester City 0, Arsenal 1.
Robin and Farrah, thank you very much. I'm still joined pitchside here by Izzy Christensen and Caroline Weir. I suppose the interesting thing about this is that given the drubbing they had against Chelsea last weekend, Leicester City are still very much in this. This is a very respectable half-time scoreline, isn't it?
It is, and Arsenal need to have their wits about them in the second half because Leicester will have gained real confidence from that significant improvement from last weekend's defeat to Chelsea. Been really impressed with the change of tactics. They look like they're in a 4-4-2 at times, which is really smart, I think, from Lydia Bedford, because stifling Kim Little and Leah Walty dictating play. So I think that's been really impressive, and she'll be the happier manager at half-time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Leicester have put on a fairly positive display so far. I think they'll be disappointed to lose such an early goal, exactly what they didn't want. But from that point, they've done well to kind of keep it to 1-0, and they need to enjoy not having the ball, which, you know, nobody does, but they're doing it well. They're in a low block, and like as he said, keeping the ball away from Kim and Leah Walsh in midfield is definitely a positive, and they just maybe need a little bit more going forward, but hopefully we'll see the game open up a little bit more in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. They can take a lot, as you said, from how they finished that half. But you mentioned, Caroline, that early goal. It's not how you wanted it to go, because given, you know, everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks, they really didn't want to go down early. But this was great play, wasn't it? And a great finish from Beth Mead.
Yeah, I mean, it starts on the left-hand side. Caitlin Ford, who I think's looked really, really sharp. If you look back at the clip, Beth Mead's actually 3v1 as you see the ball progress into the box. In any sort of mind, Beth Mead shouldn't really be getting an opportunity there. She's 3v1, like I said, and she's done exceptionally well to hook that left-footed finish past Lambourne. So it's a superb finish, but I would argue that defensively I'd expect Leicester to be a little bit tighter in those situations.
Yeah, we talked about her scoring worldies, didn't we? Look, she's on this, trying to get this assist record, but this was pretty special, wasn't it, Caroline?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great finish, and I think we spoke about Bethany before the game and how impactful she's been for Arsenal, whether that's assists and goals, and she'll be delighted. Yeah, she probably wants an assist, but she'll be happy with the goal and getting our team off to the best possible start.
Yeah, and it was just after 2 minutes, wasn't it? But you mentioned it there. Is the Arsenal really creating the chances on the left?
Yeah, they've been very strong down this left with Caitlin Ford and Katie McCabe especially. I think they've been really direct. Been really impressed with the way Caitlin Ford moves the ball. She's very hard to play against 1v1, and her delivery's been excellent. I mean, as you can see there, she's just getting down the outside of the fullback. Her end product's been very good. Let's see, they're picking out Miedemar, and that's an excellent save from Lambourne, but certainly the positive play has come from the left-hand side.
Yeah, that's where they have the biggest strength, isn't it, Caroline?
Yeah, absolutely. Caitlin Ford's look really bright. She's naturally right-footed, but can go on her left as well, and I think that makes it tricky for fullbacks defending her. She's obviously pacey, and like as he said, her end product's been good, and she's created loads of chances for her team.
Yeah. She has created lots of chances, but I tell you what, the woman between the sticks, Demi Lambourne, has been exceptional today. Something has changed between last weekend and this weekend, and she is on her game, isn't she?
Yeah, she absolutely is. She's keeping her team in the game. It's kind of what we expected. We expected her to be busy today, a lot of shot stopping. But yeah, she should take confidence from this, and her team should build on these positive saves, and hopefully they can get more action going the other way. But she's been great for her team and really important.
And you've got to be so on your guard, haven't you, against this Arsenal side, because the attacks can come from anywhere, as they have been all season.
That's right, and you can see here, like, she's also communicating after she's making the saves, and I think that shows real confidence from Lambourne. She's trying to get her team up the park after she's made a good save. And I think it's a foregone conclusion that when you play against Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, for example, the top teams, that the goalkeeper is going to be busy in that game, but you need your goalkeeper to be on their game to give yourself a chance. And like I said, I've been really impressed with Leicester, and I think Lydia Bedford will be very pleased with the way that the side's responded. Yeah, and certainly towards the end of that half as well. I mean, Izzy, you picked out Natasha Flint pre-match. Telepathy here, or some kind of, I don't know. You really know this because she, as you said, she can spring a surprise. I mean, it was the only chance of the game for Leicester, but it's the way that they moved out of that Arsenal half, finally. Well, I said before the game, sorry, as you can see, the way that Leicester are going to escape their own half is through Tash Flint, without a doubt. And as you can see, she's linking play, she's bringing others into play, and what I've really liked about it is she delays to make the pass that gives her teammates time to get up the pitch. And as you can see here, she actually gets on the end of her own move, and you could argue, should she have done better with that finish? Possibly, but ends up getting her side a corner and then an opportunity to perhaps score from a set piece. Yeah, and you wonder if there are going to be a few more like that, just taking the opportunity when they can on the break. That's right, and that's what you've got to do in games. Kaz won't know so much about it, being in a very possession-based team at City, but in terms of how Arsenal are going to defend, they need to keep their wits about them. And I think Jonas, he won't be worried, but he needs to be aware that Tash Flint especially, and O'Brien, who's been joining from the midfield, are a threat. It's something you talked about actually pre-match, or actually just in this analysis run now, that they really have to work hard off the ball.
Yeah, exactly. That's a massive part of their game plan today. They know they're not going to have loads of it. And it's about taking their chances on the transition. That's where it's going to come from. They're not going to be building up and working through the phases. So, yeah, it's a transitional play, and it's about securing the first and second pass to allow their players to get up the pitch and allow them to get more numbers in Arsenal's half. And yeah, I think we've seen glimpses of it. We'll need to see a little bit more if they want to, actually trouble Arsenal's defence. But yeah, we've seen glimpses, so hopefully we see more of that in the second half. Yeah, hopefully, but it is still only 1-0 here at the King Power to the visitors, Arsenal. Let's catch up on the rest of the weekend's action, because the WSL actually kicked off on Friday night. Izzy's Everton side were away at Birmingham City. But first of all, let's go to Caroline's side, who Manchester City. They travelled to West Ham. Your commentary for this one comes from Ben Andrews.
Greenwood into Bronze, and look where she is, and a lovely pass for Bunny Shaw. Early chance here, saved by Arnold, who got out very well and very quickly. Even 5 minutes played. Strong start from City here. Loose touch from Sissoko, who was at fault for one of the Brighton goals here last weekend. This is Razzo, and Stanway, and City lead. Well, it's been coming. West Ham's worst nightmare, an early Manchester City goal, and it was avoidable. There was the loose touch from Sissoko. Hemp inevitably involved. Stanway, then Razzo. Despite all the bodies in the way, Stanway has picked a route through, right into the corner. Asagawa, chance to cross here. Oh, it's a really good cross towards Leon, and that was close. Roebuck watching and hoping. I don't think she's getting this if it's in the top corner. West Ham's best chance. Evans. Played through. And Leon's onside here. Oh, but Walker isn't. Claudia Walker had to leave it, and she didn't. What a misjudgment from the substitute, because Leon is coming from a position of being miles onside. Look at it. It would have been one-on-one, and it might have been one goal each. We'll never know now. Oh dear. Hemp. It's another really dangerous ball. Cleared by Fisk, but only as far as Caroline Weir, who got plenty behind that shot. Arnold had to get plenty behind the save. Having earned the corner, Weir will take it. And Bunny Shaw nods City 2 in front, and that was so simple. There's their cushion, centre forward, unmarked really, edge of the 6-yard box.
Well, as for Izzy's side, Birmingham City hosted Everton on Friday night in what was really an uneventful affair. The visitors having the best chances, though. Tony Duggan couldn't take advantage of a poor Louise Quinn back pass, whilst Izzy saw a long-range shot tipped over by Emily Ramsey. City only have 5 points this season. They are 7 from safety. I mean, Izzy, look, it's been a tricky season, safe to say, for Everton. You're on your 3rd manager now, so I just wonder, is there any kind of sense of stability now, do you think?
I think so, without doubt. Chris Roberts and Claire Ditchburn have done a superb job of stabilising the team and stripping it down to basics. And I think that in a ever-changing world of football, I think things that remain constant are the things that you can control, and that's how you train every day, that's your attitude towards everything, and to change. And I think that's one of the things as a human being, not just in football, you need to be able to deal with. So yes, it's been unstable at times, but you know what, football, we're very lucky to be doing what we're doing. Football's an amazing game, and the thing is, there's always another game. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, and you've just got to keep improving and keep working and staying committed to the process, and we'll really look forward to next season. Hopefully we can do better than we have done.
Yeah, indeed, and as we say, with a bit of that sense of stability, and you know, it's been unstable at Manchester City as well. When you look back to the start of the season and the run of defeats, the huge injury concerns as well, you know, you are now in 4th place, level on points with Manchester City, back in there in the hunt for Champions League football next season. When you go back to the early start, was it ever in doubt? Because there are many who would say that it was.
Yeah, it was definitely a challenging time. I think everyone was aware of the troubles we were having at the start of the season, but I think within the team and City, we knew that we could turn things around. We knew we had the players to come back from injury, and if we could just pick up a little bit of momentum, we could go on a good run. And thankfully things have turned around, and there's loads to play for towards the end of the season. So yeah, we're happy, but we know there's still quite a long way to go to hopefully get Champions League and obviously an FA Cup to play for as well. Yeah, indeed. Okay, and as we're saying, you know, Champions League football, you're well in there now. Manchester United also in the hunt, as I say, level on points, but you know, you scored a bit of a worldie against them back in February. You beat them 1-0 at that time. How crucial could that one be now? We're going to see this goal just for fun because it's so good. But in terms of, you know, where you stand at the moment. Yeah, no, it's obviously, yeah, that was a good game for us. That was a massive game for us in our season. We knew that we needed the 3 points. United were quite a bit ahead of us, and we needed to start catching them up. So Yeah, obviously it's nice to score. It's especially nice to score against United. But yeah, to be fair to them, they've been really consistent this season and are still battling for third. So yeah, it's going to make for an exciting end. Hopefully we come out on top, but we just got to take each game as it comes.
Yeah, such a football line, isn't it? Take each game as it comes, but it is true. And there are a few games happening this weekend as well. And today, in fact, Manchester United, who are in that hunt, they're in action right now. They are up against Brighton. It's currently goalless between them. Just to run you back to the weekend fixtures, of course, Birmingham City drew with Everton. West Ham lost 2-0 to Caroline Weir's Manchester City. Here at the King Power, it is Arsenal ahead against Leicester City. Spurs against Aston Villa kicks off at 2 o'clock, and Chelsea against Reading. Well, that game kicks off at 6:45. How crucial could that one be in that title race? And of course, there is plenty of women's sport, I should say, to look forward to here on the BBC. Right, England take on Italy in the Women's Six Nations. That's at 2:30 today. That's on the BBC iPlayer. Highlights from this weekend's WSL matches are on the Women's Football Show tonight at 11:45. That's on BBC One. On the BBC iPlayer, you can watch Robbie Savage making Macclesfield FC. Club owner Rob Smethurst and the former footballer Robbie target promotion to the 8th tier of English football. Launching on BBC Sounds next Wednesday. There's a brand new podcast to listen to, and I think we're going to really enjoy this one. It's Jill Scott's Coffee Club. 5 Live's Ben Haynes joins Jill to tee up the 12-part series. And before we head back to the second half of Leicester against Arsenal, let's get a recap of the first.
So the formality's over, kick-off at the King Power. A big ask this for Leicester, who have a very, very tough run of fixtures after the international break. Ford plays it in, and that's a wonderful goal! Inside 90 seconds. It's Mead, goes low, and just wide. Miedemar straight at the goalkeeper. Good save by Lamborn in the right place. Miedemar off the post, and I think that was a really vital save from Lamborn.
Okay, so it is still Leicester City 0, Arsenal 1. Plenty to play for and a big 45 minutes coming up now. And with that, and with the teams out on the pitch, it's time to hand you back to our commentary team, the former England and Reading midfielder Farrah Williams. But first, Robin Cowan.
Thank you, Reshmin. It's an interesting second half in prospect. Very different from the scenes here at half-time at the King Power for Leicester, and they faced Chelsea, eventually losing 9-0. But it's been a show of resilience after conceding early, and a show of character. Then they've grown, and perhaps a bit of a show of, don't know, fatigue from Arsenal a little bit. Tough run in. They've still got the FA Cup to focus on. Disappointment in midweek after going out of the Champions League and seeing their title challenge take a big dent as well. So, sure, a lot of physical and mental fatigue for Arsenal, but they need to get this job done, Farrah.
Yeah, they do, and they had a great start. You know, getting an early goal would certainly have settled them. Look, they're now chasing Chelsea. They've been in the driving seat, you know, for the duration of this WSL. And now they're playing catch up, and there's a point in it between themselves and Chelsea, who play, you know, later this evening against Reading. So they want to get the job done here, and in doing the job, I would think that they would want goals as well, having seen what Chelsea did to this Leicester team last weekend.
You think back on Arsenal's season, done exceptionally well against the bigger teams. That defeat to Birmingham could really be costly. It's the only defeat all season. It's against the bottom of the league. A real shock. But they've taken 4 points off Chelsea, off Manchester City, off Manchester United, and it's that one where they were just completely not themselves.
Yeah, look, that's the best I've seen Birmingham, you know, perform this season. A fantastic game plan and executed perfectly well.
Early corner for Arsenal in the second half. Neatly worked and fired towards goal, and what a clearance! Esme de Graaf, absolutely incredible.
Incredible header on the line here from de Graaf. If you see, I mean, the strike from Beth Mead, the power behind it, and how she was able to glance that over with her head. Fantastic. And look, Leicester have had to put their bodies on the lines, you know, for 45 minutes, and they're going to have to continue that for this second period.
No wonder she had to redo her top knot. Incredible.
You don't want the hair looking messy when you're on TV.
McCabe, right on the goalkeeper, and another corner kick for Arsenal. With Demi Lambourne beaten, she just happened to be in the right place.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a good height for her. She was able to get a header on it and clear it away from goal, but the power behind the strike for me, this is fantastic defending. She's fixed her hair and looks good again here, look.
Composure back, hair back on point.
Yeah.
And a really good start to the second half from Arsenal, and Leicester survive, but this doesn't look very promising. But Leah Williamson doesn't look well at all here.
Yeah, the corner that was driven in there, I think it's come at such a pace, and you saw where the header went from Leah Williamson. She misexecuted with her head. I'm not sure she knew where it hit her, so it'll be interesting to see the replay back. You can see here from the replay, I don't know where. Yeah, it's just hit her on the side of the cheek there, or the temple, isn't it? You can see her legs go a little bit there as she comes round.
Now they really need to take care of Leah Williamson here. It was a well-worked corner. Oh, this was the strike from Mead.
Save. Great save. She was more concerned about her hair looking messy than anything else. Hopefully Leah Williamson's okay here. You know, as you mentioned, they're important for this Arsenal team, and more importantly, me as an England fan, important for this England team going forward into the Euros, and that they meet up either tonight or in the morning.
There she is.
Fixing her hair. She ain't even got a mirror to see if it looks good.
That's maybe down the sock. Maybe that could be a new innovation.
I think her teammate Goodwin is it, telling her she looks okay there.
I love how casual that was. Leah Williamson, though, you know, that looked very concerning. She looked very wobbly, and all the protocols must be followed, and of course she's going to want to carry on, but really this shouldn't be at the cost of any sort of health in terms of a head injury, because they're really serious stuff.
Yeah. Look, she's a sensible player. As much as she'll want to get back on, she'll always know, you know, the more important thing that she's okay. I see, you know, a lip reader there saying she was okay, so hopefully she's fine to continue. They need her back on the pitch, though.
At the moment, Arsenal down to 10. And eventually, if the score stays like this, Williamson back on, you know, just the one goal, Leicester will have to start to be a little bit more adventurous. Not right now, of course, but as the game progresses.
Yeah, I think this Leicester team will know, you know, they will have to do everything they can, you know, in the capabilities of the players they have to get anything from this game. So what they don't want to do is chase the game too early and try and nick a goal, because in doing that, it just opens the game up. And this Arsenal team, you know, they're playing against, if the game becomes open, you know, they're going to be dangerous.
Here's Williamson. Completes the long diagonal to Ford. 1-2 with McCabe. Another corner kick.
I think that pass from Leah Williamson tells you that she's okay and her vision's still there. Not sure she wants to go up for this corner, though.
Might give the heading a rest for a little bit, though. She is she's making her way up. Just always concern when you see a player look as fuzzy as she just did. But here comes the corner. McCabe towards Miedemar. That's well cleared, and it's Gregory who's going to try and make progress up the pitch. She's won a throw.
Yeah, that's what you know, it's good from Gregory here. Just carrying the ball up the pitch, gets her team, you know, on the halfway line, and allows her players to, you know, certainly get in that mid third. Sophie Howard, you know, I mentioned her before the game. I think she's done really well. She stepped in well at times. She's organised around her well. You know, it's certainly been important for this Leicester team in terms of her experience.
think a huge credit must go to the Leicester staff, the players, because that is such a bruising defeat last week and can really affect you, I'm sure, for a long time, but they've managed to put that aside, and then especially the start to this game.
Yeah, look, normally when you take a battering like that, you know, it hurts badly, but you tend to go away and, you know, analyse yourself as a team and, you know, honestly speak and be open with each other about the defeat and then try and fix it. And Leicester, look, you know, they certainly didn't start as if they fixed it, and it was worrying when they conceded within 90 seconds, but since the goal, I think, you know, as I mentioned, they've been fantastic. I don't think that was a foul there by Flynn. I think, you know, there's been contact. Yeah, there was. Blindside press, and Volti just knocks into Flynn. So, yeah, free kick. It didn't look it in open, you know, in live play, but on the replay you can see.
Here is Mead. Scored the goal in the second minute. Oh, it's dropped by Lambourne. The first mistake she's made, and Sophie Howard was there to clear up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a driven cross in from Beth Mead, and Lambourne's come for it, and Sophie Howard's in the way. A bit of mixed communication, but they managed to clear their lines.
Well, Flidd just took one too many touches. Miedemar wins it back. Here is Miedemar working the opening. It's a little bit messy from Leicester, but in the end, Lambourne grabs.
Really good feet here from Miedemar. Just shifts it onto her left foot, hits it hard and low, and manages to get a block. And then Perfield doesn't manage to clear the lines, and Lambourne is able to gather.
Lovely touch from Miedemar. More speculation this week about her future, out of contract at the end of this season. It will be devastating for us to see her leave the WSL, but countries all around Europe looking at her, and I'm sure there'll be a hell of a lot of interest.
Of course, she's a fantastic player. Look, I'll be disappointed for her to leave the WSL, but I'll understand her ambition as a player. She's a young player. She wants success in Europe. Arsenal in the last few seasons haven't been able to give her that. So I'd understand her reasoning, and look, you'd want the very best for her because she is a top player and deserves, you know, a lot more credit than she tends to get sometimes.
Williamson stepping in and winning the ball. Finds Mead. Williamson, lovely feet. Just behind Veen Reuter. Felt she was fouled, Williamson. Now Little. Much more disciplined from Leicester, and also a little bit more aggressive, because they're very passive against Chelsea.
Yeah, they were, and they started this game very passive, and that's why Ford down that left-hand side had so much success, you know, when dribbling at this Leicester team, and Leicester full-back in particular, De Graaf, but they've certainly become more aggressive, and in doing that, it's actually suited them a lot more, you know, because they're an aggressive pressing team. I feel like they lost that aggression when they become a team that tried to sit off and be more organised, so it's good that they found that balance now.
Free kick for Arsenal. They take it quickly. Leicester weren't set, but it's a good header away by De Graaf. Ruben Moy. Barker finds Perfield. A couple of runners down the middle. O'Brien is one of them, trying to get around Leah Velti. Oh, and Zinsberger may have sold McCabe a bit short. Good work from O'Brien. Out of play for Arsenal, but that was a little bit ramshackle from the Gunners.
Yeah, and it was a really good, you know, pass out. It's Perfield, you know, plays a long pass into the on-running O'Brien, who, you know, keeps the pressure on Volti, and then Zinsberger, you know, miskicks it. And then Katie McCabe manages to shield the ball out for a throw-in, but look, O'Brien, she's asking her teammates, you know, to come up with her, help her a little bit more. She was isolated against, you know, an Arsenal back three plus the keeper. So that was a big chance for Leicester.
Looks like Shannon O'Brien has been booked for this challenge.
Yeah, that's a booking. It's late. The ball and Volti have, you know, run away from her and she kicks her. So it's a yellow card.
2 apiece for Leicester and Arsenal. Don't see that many usually in a WSL game. It's getting a little bit more regular.
Yeah, and I think Arsenal's bookings have been through a little bit of fatigue. You know, in terms of, you know, their challenges. The Katie McCabe one lost control, a bit, you know, leggy and stretching and giving the foul away. And Leicester's have come from trying to show that aggression and being clever when they're beaten.
Little gliding past Barker and finding Mead. Runners into the box. Miedemar trying to chip it towards goal. Again, Leicester studious in their defending. Williamson, no one closing her down. So good ball in towards the back post, kept in by Ford. He'll get another shot at trying to hurt Leicester here. McCabe slips it through for Kim Little. Incisive play from Arsenal. Miedemar. And that's going to be claimed by Lambourne. Under pressure from Wienerreuter. Some intricate play from Arsenal, maybe a little too intricate.
Yeah, you just see here Wienerreuter challenging Lambourne, a little bit too aggressive and gives away a free kick. But yeah, just Arsenal overplaying inside the Leicester box. I just want them to get a shot away, or, you know, and what they do, they tend to go from right to left, and it's been quite slow from this Arsenal team, and I feel like they could have got a shot away a little bit earlier.
Emil Heskey, very much part of the women's setup now at Leicester City. Leicester born and bred. 13 years as a youth team player and then as a senior before his move to Liverpool. And Arsenal are lining up some changes.
You know, he was a fantastic player, and you know, for the women's team and the girls to see him around, and you know, he knows the club so well. It's fantastic to see that he's there being so supportive of it.
Mead is well read by Purfield, who is fouled. So we've reached the hour mark. And that's a very good pass. Kept in towards Flint. Again, a little bit too aggressive, and it's Ruben Moy who's in a bit of discomfort.
Yeah, we can just see it back here. There wasn't too much in it. She was trying to get her leg across and use her body, Flint was, you know, and yeah, she catches Ruben Moy, but nothing else in it. Arsenal there, you see a couple of the Arsenal players asking for the ref for a booking and a little bit more, but there was nothing in it for me.
Here is McCabe. All those players on a booking, so I think it will be likely that she is withdrawn. Ruben Moy. Ford. Being patient. And so are Leicester, disciplined in their shape, you can see it. Banks of 4.
And what they're not doing, Leicester, is what, you know, they haven't got individual players jumping out and pressing, because when they do that, they create gaps in their 2 banks of 4, which they don't want to do because Arsenal can exploit. Early on in the game in the first half, I spoke about, you know, pressing in isolation, and they did that until they understood their role and become more disciplined. And now they're being disciplined with it. I think Arsenal are finding it really hard to break them down. Arsenal are waiting for that one moment for one Leicester player to just jump out and press them, create a bit of space. and then they can penetrate through. There's O'Brien again here, somebody that, you know, in the first half certainly had a lot of ball and, you know, carried it up the pitch for a Leicester team and got free kicks. She's done it again here.
So McCabe off for Steph Catley. One left back for another. And Frida Marnham also ready to come on for Kim Little.
Like-for-like changes really, you know, in both positions. With Catley at full-back, just a like-for-like replacement for McCabe. And then Manham in the midfield, you know, give Kim Little a rest. She's had a lot of games of late. And look, the game's comfortable for Arsenal at the minute. They can make substitutes like that.
Well, she'll get more of a rest than usual. The international break coming up. She announced her retirement from the Scotland team. So not really a rest for most of Jonas Eidevall's team, really. Most of them called up for their countries. Corner kick here for Leicester. Just their second of the game. And Purfield has got a very good left foot on her from the dead ball.
Great delivery.
Again, a little bit too close to Zinsberger. This was the corner kick in the first half. And here come Arsenal. Blackstenius forced back. Now Marnham. The substitute gets her first touches of the ball. Williamson wearing the captain's armband now. Ford, Miedemar trying to work the space for the shot. Into Marnham, well read by Barker. And very coolly done.
That counter-attack from the corner from Arsenal, if only they seen the out on the opposite side of the pitch. You know, they had an overload of players, they didn't manage to get the ball there. But what I noticed from O'Brien, she was breaking her neck to get back into shape, sprinting, you know, 80 yards of the pitch to get herself into a shape in case the ball did manage to get there. Really good attitude from the Leicester players to recover that.
Oh, Jonas Eidevall, another tough week for him. Second in the table after the Champions League. And a huge FA Cup game in a couple of weeks' time.
It's massive.
Against Chelsea.
It's massive. And it's massive because they wasn't in the cup final. They are now in second position in the league, so they potentially could lose the league. They're now out of the Champions League. Unless Chelsea drop points, all they have to fight for this season is an FA Cup. And to think, with that opening game between Arsenal and Chelsea at the beginning of the season, everybody was speaking about Arsenal, you know, dominating all of the domestic cups and leagues, and they could go away this season with nothing.
As you mentioned, they started like a house on fire. It's been a very top-heavy season for Arsenal, but they did start the season very, very early, much earlier than everyone else, because they had to go through those Champions League qualifiers. I'm sure they won't use that as an excuse, but may just have caught up on them a little bit. And I think Chelsea also, along with Manchester City, slow starts because of the Olympic Games and not getting players back until later on. It's only just now that Chelsea and Manchester City are starting to really find their form.
Yeah, and as Chelsea and Manchester City find their form, Arsenal seem to be dipping just a little bit. Not massively, but enough to see Chelsea now take the number one spot. And knowing Emma Hayes and her team and being in this position before, I don't see them dropping points between now and the end of the season. They just have a know-how about this league, and they're a team full of winners. As I said, they've been there and done it before, and I'm sure they're probably going to go on now to win the WSL.
Williamson onto Miedemar, beautifully taken down. Mead, first touch trying to get past Plumchuk, but it's into the back of the net. Miedemar. Leicester were drawn towards the ball. Miedemar fires into an empty net.
It's cool this for Leicester. It's a cool goal to concede. They've done so well to defend. The initial phase, you can see here Miedema's touchdown to Beth Mead. They do so well to shield this in, And it's just the poke from Perfield. It just pokes it to Miedema, one player that you don't want the ball falling to inside the box. And she punishes Leicester with probably the most simplest of finishes for Miedema.
So cruel from Leicester. Quite honestly, the first mistake they've made since they conceded the first goal, when they were just caught a little bit cold, but that should be that, really.
Yeah, you can't make mistakes against top teams. They'll punish you, just like Miedema's done there.
Mistakes starting to creep in now. Miedema pulling it back just behind.
And the honesty there for Miedema, she could have gone down. She swept it past Howard down the left-hand side, who lunges in and catches Miedema, but she stays on her feet to try and pick out a pass.
Here's Gregory. And a touch. Not what she wanted to do. And it's back with Arsenal.
O'Brien still running around, still trying to press for her team. I think she's been fantastic for Leicester today. You know, real standout player for me, in and out of possession. I think she's been very good.
Till much healthier. A valiant effort though from Leicester, who may be just starting to tire a little bit.
Yeah, you see there, just a touch there from Howard on Miedema. Felt she could have gone down, some players would have. The honesty for Miedema keeps her on her feet.
Very much a player who wants to get on with things. Tierney trying to get in behind, and the flag has gone up.
She's just got the wrong side, Tierney, the defender, we were Moy there. And when the ball's played, she's just in an offside position. You can see Catley coming on is, you know, similar to McCabe, and they're still threatening down this left-hand side, Arsenal.
Lisa Paris, ready to come on. Still searching for that elusive 50th WSL goal. Can't see that it will come today.
Let's hope so. Look, Nikita Paris, a fantastic player, wears her heart on her sleeve. You know, real passionate player, loves the game. I love watching her play, you know, whether it be for club or country, she always shows that passion and love for the game. And look, I'd love to see her score that goal today and you know, get to that 50. And I'm sure once she does that, she'll go on to score many more goals.
Yeah, you mentioned the passion. I've never seen a player at any level, any gender, argue as much as her about things like throw it. It's great to see.
I love it. She, you know what, she's so street. Well, I've known Nikita for a long time. When I was at Everton, she was in our youth team, and I was coaching in the then Centre of Excellence, and she was a part of that. And such a bright young talent she was when she was coming through, and she had that same aggression and passion as a kid, screaming. You could hear her on the other pitch. You always knew Nikita was playing because you could just hear her screaming for the ball. And yeah, fantastic player. Hopefully, it looks like she's coming on in the 9, which I know Nikita played out in as a number 9 in Lyon. So this will be a real good change for her, and hopefully going into that number 9, she gets a chance today. So we could see that go. I'm hoping. I'm excited now. I've seen that.
A potential milestone. 20 minutes to reach it for Nikita Paris. She's had a bit of a slow start, in all honesty, to her Arsenal career. But it's tricky when there's so much depth, especially in those forward areas. And a former Arsenal player coming on for Leicester, Paige Bailey-Gale, on for Natasha Flint.
Yeah, another fantastic player for Leicester coming on, and a like-for-like replacement again in terms of, you know, what they can bring.
20 minutes still to play. Leicester heads haven't dropped just yet, and they just won't want the floodgates to open like they did last weekend.
I'm disappointed. I thought Nikita Paris was going to come in and go straight down the centre. She's come out to this right-hand side, and Beth Mead's gone in that false 9 position, it looks.
Wonderful play once again from O'Brien, but touch just takes it away from her. Eventually, the referee has brought that back for a foul.
She's been really good. Look, she just chops back here. A little bit loose of the ball. I think it's that touch there. Miedema manages to get her body between the then ball and O'Brien, and O'Brien gives the foul away.
She has been called up to the under-23, Shannon O'Brien. England double-header out in Spain against the Netherlands. So clearly on the radar.
Yeah, she made her first camp appearance in the last fixture. We played a double-header out in France, and look, she's had a very good season for Leicester and deserving of her call-up. As we've seen today, a really good young talent.
The attractive possession play from Arsenal. Paris. Miedema. Advantage played. Miedema did have her shirt pulled. Here's Catley. Ford. Lovely feet. Plumter gets her head to the ball. Miedema. Laid off, and that's going to be Demi Lambourne's. We're starting to get a little bit more space in the box. Earpiece in, Lydia Bedford. Probably listen to instructions, not the chart or something.
Yeah. I mean, she was smart, you know, in bringing Brent Hills in. You know, the experience he has at the women's game. Somebody I was lucky enough to work, you know, he was our assistant coach at England at the time. Fantastic coach, and you know, he has a love for the game and a love for developing coaches as well now. So it's fantastic that she was smart in bringing him in. I think it was a real smart decision.
Scoops it over to the far side. Drilled in towards Nikita Paris. Here's Marnham once again. Out of play. Yeah, it will be really interesting to see how Leicester approach the close season. As we mentioned before, Lydia Bedford only contracted at the end of the season, and I'm sure because they are investing an awful lot in their women's team, they will recruit. I'm sure they'll want to recruit maybe a few more players with real WSL experience, perhaps.
I feel like that's what they need. That's what they're missing. Look, they've got some great young, you know, enthusiastic, energized players. But what you need in this WSL is a bit more than that. And I think losing Remy Allen at the beginning of the season to Aston Villa was a massive mistake from Leicester to let somebody.
Here's Paris onto Miedema, and it's 3. Lovely flowing move from Arsenal. An assist from Paris. Miedema finishing it off, her second, Arsenal's third. Space is just opening up against Leicester now.
Yeah, you can just see here, it's out on this right-hand side, there's stretch, Nikita runs through the middle. Great, helped the ball on really well, Nikita. The slightest of touches to just roll it to Miedema. And look, the great take there, and the composure to finish. Looks like De Graaf might have took a knock here. Just that slight touch there from Miedema, and then she manages. It looks like it could go down as an own goal from De Graaf, but we'll see who they give it to. But
just took a nick off De Graaf, but
a more comfortable scoreline for Arsenal. This
much more what you'd expect, but De Graaf looks worse off after that challenge than taking a ball square in the face earlier on. That knocked her off her feet to keep it at 1-0. So an eventful game.
Yeah, she has.
De Graaf.
It's been tough for her, as I mentioned in the first half. She's got, you know, a player in front of her in Goodwin who's, you know, naturally a central midfielder, and the attributes of a wide player, you know, completely different. And so, you know, she was outnumbered in that first half, and for much of the game she's been outnumbered in that full-back position. But, you know, she's stuck at her task and she's done really, really well. And look, unfortunate there to not be able to get the clearance.
little bit cold down there on the touchline. The lady in the crowd with the blankets, that is preparation.
Yeah.
We might be taking a leaf out of her book next time. Bit of space here for Leicester City. Well, it's given away. It was Missy Goodwin who was making some progress. Perhaps could have released that a little bit earlier for Bailey Gale. Arsenal ready for a couple more changes. Miedemar on a hat-trick. Good header on by Goodwin. Couple more World Cup qualifiers for England, North Macedonia and then Northern Ireland, warm up for the Euros this summer. Here's Paris. Oh, and it's an own goal. Nikita Paris with the low ball in, and Ashley Plumtree puts it through her own net, and it's 4-0. Leicester's resistance is falling apart here.
You can see Sophie Howard here just telling her team, look, next 5, keep your concentration. But look, it's a well-worked goal here. The ball comes out from Beth Mead to Nikita, who drives into the box. It's a really, the pass into the box is just putting it into a good area. There was no pressure on Plumtree. There was no runner towards her. But she just a nick and the pace of the ball in from Nikita, and it just guides it to into her own net.
Not really what Leicester deserved, given their industry, their resilience, but they're just fading, aren't they, now? As Arsenal make a couple more substitutions, Jordan Nobbs coming on, and Tobin Heath as well for Caitlin Ford and Vivian Miedemar. But just an illustration of Arsenal's depth, which Leicester City clearly do not have.
Definitely not. I mean, look, you just brought on a World Cup winner, 2-time in Tobin Heath. It's good to see Jordan get some minutes. I'm sure she'll be, she ain't going to be happy with the amount of playing time she's had this season for Arsenal. But let's not forget she has come back from, a really big injury, and Arsenal have had to buy in that time. They've had to bring players in to replace her when she wasn't there. So she's found it hard to then get that spot back. It's important when she gets in that she takes her chances.
Could be more for Arsenal. Wienreuter. Herfield intercepts and hooks it upfield. Bailey Gale, the only royal blue shirt up there. Here is Jordan Nobbs. Neil Williamson. Nobbs to slip it through towards Marnham, who made the running behind. Paige Bailey Gale, lovely touch, but there's no one even in the same half as her now. O'Brien joining her. Bailey Gale having to hold it up. And it's an Arsenal throw.
So difficult, they're so stretched, Leicester, when they're trying to attack, and we've seen, throughout the game, O'Brien's really tried to, do both. She's tried to link play, she's tried to then get up, to support the centre forward. It's been really difficult for Leicester.
Zinsberger closed down. Gregory still full of energy. Paris trying to get away from Perfield. Clearance only as far as Greenreuter. Away from Perfield. And now Paris. Lovely 1-2. Nikita Paris! It's in! And it's Tobin Heath at the far post. Great work from Paris. Tobin Heath makes it 5-0 to the Gunners. Her second WSL goal of the season. You couldn't have been any closer, really.
Yeah, it was really, really good play here from Arsenal. Greenreuter and Nikita, you just see here, Greenreuter cuts back and Nikita plays a 1-2 then with Beth Mead, and this is where you think she's going to get her goal. She strikes it across, and look, Tobin Heath is at the back post to just notch it in. Really good combination here from Nikita Paris and Beth Mead. And Tobin Heath just gets her body behind it and chests it in. But the strike from Nikita, head down and over. The deflection takes it up in the air, and Tobin Heath just chests it in at the back post. The impact Nikita's had since coming on, she's been involved in 2 of the goals since coming on. Come on, as we spoke when she was coming on, said she's got a lot of energy, and she showed that.
Ruben Moy. Here's Catley. Arsenal now want more, and they need more if they're to draw back their goal difference to match Chelsea. Game is won. Now the priority is to see how many they can get.
But there's still, at least minimum eight minutes remaining in this game, plus added on. So there's, potentially over 10 minutes now for Arsenal to get a couple more. But Leicester have to stay disciplined. They don't want to concede anymore. If they can keep it like this for the next 10 minutes, I'm sure they'll go away from this game happier than they were last weekend.
Williamson, straight, Demi Lambourne, who we mustn't forget as well has had a terrific game.
Yeah, she's been fantastic, and certainly in the first half, a fantastic performance from Lambourne. She'll be disappointed. The goals in the second half have been scruffy, probably preventable goals. So they'll be disappointed, Leicester as a whole, the goals they've conceded in the second half.
Greenreuter on to Paris. Belty to Mead, absolutely surrounded. Down she goes. May have had a case, but referee waves play on. Nobbs, great touch. And now Heath. Not quite on the same wavelength as Nikita Paris. And as we approach the full-time whistle, it's time for your Barclays Player of the Match, Barrett.
I've gone with Vivian Miedema. I think, she's been fantastic. Took both of her goals really, really well. Just controlled the game. She's dipped in and out. She's known when to turn it on. But a fantastic player and got the 2 goals. For Arsenal, I have to mention O'Brien for Leicester, because I also think she come close to my thinking around, giving her player of the match, because I think she's been fantastic for Leicester today. But look, Miedema's got the 2 goals and Arsenal won 5-0, so I couldn't give it to anybody else.
Yeah, it's only right to give an honourable mention to O'Brien. Really stood out in a team that has been struggling, especially in recent games. She
doesn't even look like she's broke a sweat, Miedema. When you look at her when she plays, she never looks like She's tired. She's just got that face, hasn't she? That poker face where everything for her looks so easy. She makes the game look so easy.
Everything just comes totally naturally to her. In fact, she looks bored sometimes at how easy it is for her.
Yeah. No, she definitely isn't bored. She loves the game. You can see it. You can see it in how she plays, in her body language.
Here's Nobbs. Oh, just trying to slip it through for Paris. Well intercepted. Hunter. Oh, Bailey Gale's down at the most inopportune moment. O'Brien's lost it. But here's Gregory taking up the cause.
You know, a confident Jordan Nobbs, or a Jordan Nobbs that's been playing regular for this Arsenal team, she would have hit that from the edge of the box. So it's disappointing that she's not doing what she's naturally good at. She's got one of the best strikes from outside the box in the women's game, and certainly in England. And you know, to see her give up an opportunity to shoot from the edge of the box is disappointing. But it shows the confidence of where she's at.
Just been another season of bad luck, just as she was getting fit again. Injury against Chelsea in pre-season, wasn't it, that stopped her from featuring for a long time, and then the form of Frida Marnham kept her out of the team. It's just been a catalogue of really bad fortune. Thinking back to the World Cup, she missed France, and she stuck with us at the BBC and not actually getting on the field.
Yeah, she's had a disappointing last few years in terms of injuries, and she just needs to find her way again. And look, whether it be with this Arsenal team going forward, or she goes and finds a team where she can get more minutes and get back to her best, because she's still young enough. You know, she's got so many more years ahead of her, and certainly in that England team. But I think, you know, having not played at club level, it's quite difficult to pick her in that England team, and it's understandable.
Here is O'Brien. No foul. Arsenal play on with Tobin Heath. Lovely ball out to Wienreuter. That looked like a handball. Real suspicion of handball. But Arsenal can't take advantage of that decision anyway.
Such an obvious handball, and the linesman just being right here can see it clearly, you would have thought. But it certainly, look, you can see from, maybe not. The angle of the camera weren't... it looked like a handball from my view up here, as I said, but the linesman's a lot closer than me. I won't criticise their decision.
Ruben Moy. Intercepted by De Graaf. Wienreuter. Williamson towards Heath. Side netting. And Demi Lambert got a touch and a corner kick. Wonderful ball, though, towards Heath.
Yeah, fantastic delivery from Leah Williamson. Diagonal ball to the back post. I thought Tobin Heath was going to hit a left foot volley. She's gone with the outside of her right foot, and it's gone to the side netting.
7 minutes of time added on.
Where did they find that?
You ready to go?
I'm sure Leicester wouldn't have wanted to see that board.
Low towards the near post and easily cleared, defended by Purfield. Bailey Gale, well, that's not the greatest of clearances. We did have that Leah Williamson head injury. We've had quite a few substitutions. Here's Mead. Off Plumtree. And now Jordan Nobbs. And corner kick.
And that's more like the Jordan Nobbs that we know. You know, anything in and around the box, she's prepared to take a shot, and it's good to see here. She missed the opportunity before. You can see it falls back to Miedemar. Jordan Nobbs gets it out of her feet and gets her strike away. Deflects off for a corner. That was probably a harder one to take, that shot from the edge of the box, than the one previous that she didn't take.
Catley's delivery. Picked up by Velty. That's been one big positive, actually, from Leicester. They've defended those corner kicks very well.
First and second contacts have been quite good for Leicester from corner deliveries.
Pressure still on from Arsenal. Steph Catley crowded out on the edge of the box. Heath. It's Nobbs again, off target. Clearly heard you though, Farah.
She must have heard me say that I was disappointed in her not taking that first one. She's had 2 since then. But yeah, it just falls to her nicely here. No backlift and hits one.
Well, it's been a rather disappointing afternoon from Lydia Bedford, but you've got to take the small wins, and I think the improvement from last week to this, she can really take the positives from that.
Definitely, I think, look, she's got to be pleased with the attitude of her players. I think, you know, they've certainly worked hard for each other. They've been disciplined in what they tried to do. They look as if they tried to execute the game plan. But you give half chances to an Arsenal team with the quality they have in it, and they'll punish you. And unfortunately, in the second half, you know, a couple of mistakes, and they've scored goals from it.
Paris. Beth Mead was there, and she's been pulled up for the foul. Howard just got there ahead of her.
Yeah, good cutback from Nikita. Howard steps in blindside, and Beth's about to take her shot, and just catches Howard.
So Arsenal will go back top of the Women's Super League, 2 points clear of Chelsea, but could be for only a few hours. Chelsea against Reading later on tonight, but now back level on goal difference.
Chelsea will know, though, going to, you know, Reading coming to Chelsea, that they'll have to perform better than they did in the home fixture at Reading, because, you know, Reading beat them earlier in the season 1-0.
It's Nobbs, deflected, another corner kick. Yes, earlier on the season, a 1-0 win for Reading. Only shot on target for Reading, and then backs against the wall. I think it was one of those, well, great performances from a Reading point of view, but a bit of a freak in terms of Chelsea being so wasteful.
It was, but they only had, I think, Grace Maloney, she only had 2 or 3 saves to make in the 90 minutes. So for all the dominance they had and shots, they weren't on target. And then, look, Reading have that. They have you know, Rose, you know, from counter-attacks. The pace that she has is frightening.
Catley's delivery once again well defended by Leicester, and the players stopped once again for a potential head injury. Tierney down. They've been brave, Leicester, from these set pieces, defending well, wanting to win their battles.
I think she may have work out what happened there. I thought the ball hit her in the face. But not sure if it did. I think it might have been an arm.
Well, she's okay and up. And 90 seconds remaining of extra time.
Leicester might as well load the box for this free kick. Minute to go, see if they can get themselves a goal.
If you were Demi Lambourne, would you say, Gaffer, can I go up?
Definitely not.
Not the time. Not the time.
If there was some meaning behind it, maybe, but we're 5-0 down.
Just something I like to see, but probably sensible. Good win from Nikita Paris on the edge of the box. Lovely play from Heath. Paris onto Nobbs. Arsenal players flooding forward, but not really quickly enough. Nobbs, her pass is deflected and it's cleared. It's going to be picked up by Wienreuter. Here's Marnham, now Velty. Perhaps one last chance for Arsenal. Harris can't quite get past Plumpton. And that's it, full time at the King Power. Leicester made a good game of it in the first half, but in the end, an emphatic win and a very important one for Arsenal in the race for the WSL title. Beth Mead giving them the lead in the first half, a double from Miedemar, an own goal, and then Tobin Heath wrapping up the scoring for the Gunners. Over to Chelsea now, tonight against Reading. Full time here at the King Power. Leicester City 0, Arsenal 5.
Robin Cowan and Farrah Williams, thank you very much. I'm still joined pitchside by Izzy Christensen and Caroline Weir. Izzy, I mean, look, Tobin Heath there with a goal today. This was so important, wasn't it, to get that victory psychologically after crashing out of the Champions League in midweek, seeing Chelsea take top spot in the table for the first time this season, being able to puff their chests out and say, you know what, we are still in this. This win is absolutely crucial.
It is, yeah, and I think that the title race is going to go right to the wire, and it was integral that Arsenal bounced back after that defeat to Wolfsburg midweek in the Champions League, and it's been a very quick turnaround for them, having 2 days recovery, travel time back from Germany, etc., and then coming up to Leicester for them. I think that it was integral for them to get a result, and a convincing one at that, and that's what they've done. Yeah, it was certainly convincing towards the end. We'll talk about Leicester in a moment, but for Jonas Eidevall there, to manage those expectations, to manage, you know, such a big squad and who he brings in. I mean, he has the luxury of taking big players off as well, but you can just see, I mean, he's quite cool and calm and collected as he always is. What is he thinking inside?
Yeah, you'll be delighted with that. Not only the 3 points, but decent amount of goals as well. It was really convincing in the end from Arsenal. Leicester gave it a good shot for a good chunk of the game, but unfortunately I think maybe physically as well they weren't quite up to the standards that Arsenal could see the game out and showed their quality in the end. But yeah, there was players all over the pitch impacting the game, so he'll definitely be delighted with that. Yeah, absolutely will. Viviane Miedemar, someone asking for her shirt, why wouldn't you? A couple of goals for her today. And I suppose, you know, given what's coming up, this is just so crucial. There are going to be ebbs and flows, you think, but at the moment, they've put themselves back in the driving seat. But if Chelsea win today, they're up against Reading at 6:45 this evening. They'll all have their eyes on that game as well. Psychologically, how do you maintain your focus? Actually, Caroline, look, we saw that last season, actually, between Chelsea and Manchester City. What is the feeling of the side that is sort of chasing? I think you've just got to focus on yourselves. I think there's a lot of chat from people like us about the title race and how exciting it is and how it's shaping up. But I think when you're in that situation, you are, again, it's a cliche, you are just focusing on that game in front of you.
I was about to say it is a football cliche, but...
It is, but it's so important to do that. And I think you train every day. You've got to stick to your processes, stick to your game plan, and not worry about the outside noise, because the most important thing is what's going on in your team and your changing room, and that's all you can control.
That is all you can control, and you are professionals, and that's how you train your minds. But is there a part of your psyche that starts to think ahead? And if you do, what do you do to pull yourself back?
Yeah, I just think back to last year at City, and again, I think we were literally just focusing on that game that we had in front of us, and I think the schedule gets so busy that you really can't look too far ahead. So it's actually easy just to focus on that game that you've got to play right in front of you there and then, being in the present moment, and that's what managers and big players in the dressing room will be talking about and telling their players to focus on.
Yeah, indeed. Well, at half-time, it was only 1-0, Leicester City, and we will talk about them in more detail. They were very, very much in it at that time. They really were disciplined, and an incredible performance from Demi Lambourne, but the second half was very, very different. We saw the discipline in the first half. In the second half, I suppose if you're Lydia Bedford, you'll be very disappointed at how these goals were conceded. This is Viviane Miedemar at 2-0.
Yeah, so if you look here, it's good good bit of play from Arsenal. It's the first time in the game that we saw them sort of combine in those central areas to breach that Leicester City wall, if you like, in the first half that we saw. But this is just a little bit sloppy and a disappointing one. Perhaps a lack of communication between the goalkeeper and the centre-back. But yeah, a gift for Miedema, and she doesn't miss those.
No, she definitely does. And that was on 67 minutes. 75 minutes, Vivianne Miedema pops up again. Again, this one was a little bit unconventional as well. We see her scoring incredible goals. This one, what did you make of it? Well,
Again, I think that as the Leicester City wall began to tire, it opened up gaps centrally for Arsenal. I think with the introduction of Nikita Paris, she added a sort of a dynamic nature to the game, and I think that combination and that first time pass around the corner into Miedema was superb. It carved open the Leicester City defence, and Miedema, yeah, an unconventional finish, but again one which in those areas she's frightening.
Yeah, and you mentioned the substitutes making an impact. I believe this one is 4-0. Is that right? Or this? Yeah, this one is the own goal, Ashley Plumtree, actually. So disappointing for her, because as you say, you know, they did hold their own for so long, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and that's, again, sorry, Kaz. I mean, Nikita just came on, and like I said, she had an impact on the game, and an unfortunate own goal, but a good cross across, and it's caused that error.
Yeah, it did. Unfortunately for Leicester City, who did, of course, hold up very, very well, and particularly in the first 45 minutes. Vivianne Miedema, though, really influential, as always, for Arsenal. She's now speaking to Kelly Summers.
Vivian, congratulations, 2 more goals and a win. Given the Champions League exit and the way this title race is shaping up, was that the perfect afternoon for Arsenal?
No, absolutely. I think obviously we started really well. We scored a goal within, I think, 2 minutes it was. And we needed that after Thursday night. Obviously disappointed we didn't go through, but we just need to win all the games from now on, and hopefully Chelsea slip up and, yeah, we can win the league.
You said there you got the early goal, but then Leicester frustrated you for long periods, didn't they?
No, they did. I mean, they done really well. Obviously, after last week, they probably reflect and done something else today. They done well. We didn't score a second goal till later in the second half, and I mean, on the end, 5 goals, which is good for us, and the goal difference. And yeah, we just need to keep on going.
I was going to say that, is goal difference something you're very aware of in this title run-in?
Yeah, I mean, it is obviously. Chelsea are a great team. I hope they, as I said, they drop points once and they can come back to goal difference. So we need to keep the nil and score as many goals as possible. And yeah, that's what we need to do in the next 4 games as well.
We've seen you score a variety of goals, but Farrah Williams gave you player of the match because you said you just knew where to be at the right time today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really like that thing, but today I was. I think I was unlucky a couple of times in the first half, but yeah, I'm just happy I could score a couple of goals for the team today and we won.
Very quickly, you are top once again. Will you be watching Chelsea later?
Yeah, I will be, but I'm also travelling to national team, so busy day.
Well, congratulations, you are the Barclays player of the match.
Thank you. Well, see ya.
Yeah, Vivianne Miedema there, and we have the winning manager, Jonas Eidevall. Great to see you, as always. Jonas, when you think of the week that you had, crashing out of Europe, and then you saw Chelsea pip you at the top of the table, psychologically, what does a victory like this do for your team?
Like what Chelsea does doesn't matter at all, but it is tough to go Thursday night playing in Europe away with traveling, and then to prepare against Leicester, that obviously plays a lot different than Wolfsburg does. So very well done for the players. In the end, it looked easy, but there's a lot of preparations, both from players starting, but also players coming on from the bench, that made it possible today.
Yeah, and speaking of easy, Leicester definitely didn't make it easy for you today. They came here very, very well prepared. The first half was very difficult. I suppose in some ways the scoreline doesn't necessarily reflect their performance.
Well, I do actually think it does. I think we could have scored a couple of more goals in the first half. Then in the second half we score maybe some easy goals, but in the end I think it fairly did. But I think Leicester did it well.
And Demi Lambourne especially, I mean, she was the one,
she had some amazing saves. I think they worked very hard, they're very loyal to the game plan. But I'm not standing here being sorry for winning 5-0. I think it reflects our performance.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. When Chelsea went top last week, I know you say that you focus on yourself, but I mean, now, look, you've made up the goal difference as well. But when that happens, after being dominant for so long in this season, does it change your mentality at all? What is it that goes through your mind at that point?
Not at all. It's still the same thing. We can prepare for the games that we're playing. We can control our own performances. For me, I'm just as motivated if we're on top at the moment, or if we're number 2. We need to keep on believing, keep on preparing, keep on performing, and then who knows where it takes you in the end, but we can only do whatever we can do.
Okay, well, your next game is actually against, watch out, against Izzy's Everton. But this is what...
With the FA Cup semi-final, I was like, oh, is
that
one of them signed for Chelsea? So, geez.
Damn them. But this is the title run in here for the WSL. Like I say, you've got Everton next. What do you make of the games that you've got ahead? Aston Villa at home, West Ham at home, and then, of course, you've got the North London derby as well that needs to be rescheduled. Would you compare that to Chelsea? Because on paper, yours would look... I don't want to say the words, but a bit of not an easier path, but a smoother path potentially.
You know what? I don't know which order we're playing the teams. When I saw that on the screen, almost the first time I was looking at it. For me, it's Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. Yep. That's the game that we're preparing for. The other games we take later. I live in the moment. I'm present. I prepare the team one game at a time. So I'm not thinking about that at all. Yeah, well, that FA Cup game on the 17th of April is going to be live on the BBC as well. We'll actually be there. And that's an interesting one because you're fighting for them for the WSL title. You're fighting with Chelsea for the FA Cup as well. Chelsea arguably are the side who have done it most recently. They're the ones who have experience of in being in that chasing pack, as you know, Caroline's Manchester City were last season in terms of fighting for the title. Does that make a difference, that recent experience of doing it? Or are you confident that you have the team and the squad to be able to fight at those very key moments? Of course I believe in us. Of course I believe in us. I think we've shown that during the season as well. We're a strong side. We score a lot of goals. We concede few goals. It's a very good recipe for winning football matches. So we will believe in ourselves every game we go out and play, if it's against Chelsea or if it's against any other opponent.
Jonas, today I felt like the impact of your substitutes were fantastic in terms of keeping the performance level high, momentum, and Leicester's defence were fatiguing. I thought they made a real impact. So what was the thought process behind that, or just to have an impact? I agree. Yeah. I think that's great. That's also what I said to the players after and really complimented them with, that I can understand the disappointment of being on the bench, but it's so important as a squad to be able to perform, to have players to come in with that energy, with that impact. I think Nikita Paris is brilliant coming off the bench today. So clever runs, good initiatives. Frida Monum also very good coming in there, real presence in midfield. So yeah, I think they're making a difference. Really nice to see. Excellent. Thanks. Jonas, always great to talk to you. Well done today on the victory. Thank you. We'll speak to you soon. Yeah. Thank you very much. Well, that is it from the King Power Stadium. Arsenal, of course, with that big win against Leicester City. The title race is going to go right down to the wire. They're, of course, in FA Cup action in a couple of weeks. And up next on the BBC is England's women against Italy in the Women's Six Nations. So do stay with us. My thanks, of course, to Izzy. My thanks to Caroline. And we'll see you again soon.
So the formality's over. Kick-off at the King Power. Ford plays it in, and that's a wonderful goal. Inside 90 seconds. Fired towards goal, and what a clearance! Esme de Graaf, absolutely incredible. Mead, first touch trying to get past Puncher, but it's into the back of the net. Here's Paris onto Miedemar, and it's 3. Oh, it's an own goal. And now Paris, lovely 1-2, Nikita Paris!